Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome back to kind of a revisit on the Centurion Mark 10. I did already a tank review on the Centurion Mark 10. It is a rather old one. I might consider redoing it. On the other hand, what you're about to see is a not just spectacular battle with a kind of unusual playstyle for me, but I want to show you a position and a playstyle and just the effect on the Hesh shell again. The British Hesh is a bit stronger in terms of pure penetration values than all the other Hesh shells out of the three other nations that have access to Hesh. It is stronger than the Hesh on the other L7 guns or variants of it, for example on the M60 series, the Leopard series, or in terms of the Type 60 with the recoilless rifles. Also, it has a higher muzzle velocity than, for example, the Type 60 recoilless rifles. That is around about 500 meters. This one has 730 meters per second, which is better to aim at long distances. However, it is best used at short to mid-range, in my opinion. And what you're about to see is where I take on a very prominent position that, strangely, nobody else ever used. I have not seen anybody else using this kind of frontline camping position, and that's what I'm going to do right here in this battle. It's the bridge, and you have to hold the bridge. Now, in this conquest mode, I guess we have one cap circle and it's below the bridge, but you also can cap it when you are on the bridge and also can deny the enemy access to the bridge or capping it. Furthermore, your hull is covered not just by how the bridge is formed, shaped in this kind of curve, it also gives you kind of a hull down possibility because those sides of the bridge, those side walls, are, as far as I can tell, not destructible. That gives you so many options. In conjunction with the palm trees here, it gives you many options. And I guess you don't get often away with what I'm doing here. Talking about getting away, I tried a bit APDS, but again, it doesn't have the pure damage output that I'm used to from the British 20-pounder or even the big 120mm APDS shells from tanks like the Conqueror or the Chieftain. Again, this APDS is kind of between in caliber between the 83.4mm 20-pounder, then this 105L7 gun, and then the 120mm. It's kind of in between. However, the effect is just so unreliable, and that was the main criticism on the Centurion Mark 10's tank review. Overall, the tank is not particularly bad in any kind of respect. It has decent mobility, it has decent armor protection. The survivability after penetration is not the highest, but sometimes if you take out enough ammunition, you can survive a turret shot. And again, here we are in the situation where we potentially can repair without really disengaging from the front line and still being a big distraction for the enemy team. The Panther that got me distracted here and caused me to turn the turret got taken out, and the tanks in front of me can't really take on me. I'm currently outside of the capping zone area on the bridge. However, I still can go into it without exposing too much of myself. And then we have this 10.5 centimeter King Tiger, and I am down to 2 men. That is why I have such a long reload, and I take him out with an ammunition. I have to say, I have to admit, while the 10.5 centimeter King Tiger is my most played tank overall, it is also the weakest of the King Tiger series. Now, why is that? You can't remove the warheads from the back of the turret, and you just can take out half of the ammunition. Everything else will be displayed in the tank for up until you fired the last round. You know, it doesn't matter how much ammunition you take out. So there is always a lot of ammunition on the right hand side of the tank, where also the gunner sits, and the driver, and the commander. So yeah, the right hand side is really the side that is highly vulnerable. My team did a wonderful job. We recaptured the cap zone. I am now in the cap zone, and I'm getting back myself a crew member, repairing and rearming some of the Hesh shells, because I was not really that cautious with how many I fired. Now you saw me that I switched to a APDS and back to Hesh. Because I got the crew member back, I have the faster reload, and it was worth it switching ammunition so I have the faster reload. Because when I began to reload, I still had 2. So that is also a reason why sometimes, especially in our arcade, I might take on ammunition types that I rarely use. So now at the moment it seems like we have cleared the area. Some of our tanks are already crossing the river, and it seems kind of okayish with what we have done with the enemy team. But then I saw an explosion, and there is this Panzer 70 or Panzer 70, and I receive another shot in the turret, and again I'm down to just 2 crew members. That's not nice. Where did this shot come from? I have no idea. Must have come from this ridgeline up ahead, and obviously the enemy retreated after taking the shot. So I'm repaired, and I kind of make an aggressive move. It looked like the shell went under the tank, but indeed I hit him square on in the middle and one-shot him. So good result right there. Then there is a Panther. He tries to retreat, but Panther has a very bad reverse gear, and I actually throw the shell into the stone or the rock next to him. So that was bad marksmanship by me. Let's see how this shell does. Much better. And if you could just look back to the kill cam, that was kind of a strange thing. It looked like a heat beam. How can I have a heat beam on a Hesh shell? Might be a bug, might be a hidden feature, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. So, and again I receive a shot, and now I see where this guy is. He's behind this rock. He's hiding. It's a King Tiger, so yeah. I marked him with the machine gun. And we can do nothing but wait. But we are in the advantage in terms of having, you know, the position. We aim at where he comes around. And I take the shot because I saw the upper plate a little bit. He gets out again. And we get shot from behind by a plane, which damages our engine, or rather our radiators. And the Tiger 2P got taken out by a Carnarvon that kind of flanked him, if I'm not mistaken. So, good result right there. What a battle. I'm still not quite sure if, you know, our tanks on the other side get thrown back into the water, so to speak, and a new attack wave comes. Again, this is camping on the front line. And while this is not the most exciting gameplay right now, you just saw it at the beginning where I had King Tigers, Yak Panthers, Yak Tigers right in front of me and took them out one by one. Again, I might have used hidden game features. Well, doesn't matter. Now I have a very nice approach on the other side of the river, so to speak. Going over the bridge is not just safer but also faster. It's all about positioning, really. The best position is the position where the enemy does not expect you, does not see you, and just, you know, shows his, let's say, broadside, the side of the tank, and you can aim carefully, take your time, take the shot, retreat, reload, repeat. In this battle again, it was the complete opposite. And I, was in the game very active. That was my 7th kill, this Ostwind. One-shotted again. And again, I'm pretty sure with APDS, I just would penetrated him where I aimed and, maybe disabled him. And then he just could have blinded me with his fire. Then I see this Yak Panther. I reposition myself. Before he could gun on me, I take out his driver, gunner, and commander, so the right-hand side is kind of cleared. And I just take the risk with the long reload because of just 2 crew members, and he can't recover in time. And I finish him off. So that was my 8th kill. And then there is this AAA. And this AAA, well, he played it nicely. He saw that I'm coming up, and he retreated. I look at the minimap and see that there is a tank right next to me. Sorry about this. And yeah, let's just wait a little bit. We're relatively close to the enemy's spawn points. So if a tank comes out of cover, it might just be that he is in spawn protection mode, and then you can fire anything at him and he will survive it. But now I think to myself, maybe it's a good idea to just simply advance. Because there is this, I guess, T-29 next to me. Yes, it's a T-29. So he can draw the fire and I just can farm the enemy. And that was a very lucky shot. Killed the driver and the gunner. I have to say one thing about this driver-gunner thing. It's amazing how often just they die. I know there might be the argument, yeah, because people aim there. But even if you aim center mass, you're guaranteed to receive damage or even fatal kind of death of those 2 crew members. And those 2 crew members are, most of the time, your most important people. Despite having maximum health on them, it's always the same. And I saw this Ostwind, and he's in spawn protection, and I get taken out by the other Ostwind that I tried actually to hunt down. He went around and killed me from the side with a single shell because I was down to just 2 crew members. And that was kind of the battle. I don't even bother respawning because it's about to end. 3,256 respawn points. That is amazing. And so was the battle. So let's have a quick look at the post-battle results. And we can see that we have 44,000 silver lines and 4,218 research points. Again, I'm kind of disappointed with the outcome in terms of research points, in terms for a realistic battle, a win where I had 9 kills, 2 assists, interacted so much with my surrounding. It's kind of a bit disappointing, but overall the result is really nice. So that's it. That's kind of a revisit on the Centurion Mark 10. I hope you liked the battle. I hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the Centurion Mark 10 and the reliability of the heat shell and the Hesh shell. What were your experiences, and was it like you fell in love with it immediately when you got it? What do you think about that you don't have to research any kind of ammunition? I think it's great, but then again, you're just stuck to it. You don't have any kind of heat shell. However, you have a low battle rating. You have a high rate of fire. On the other hand, when you're in the open, you can die very, very fast. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more, and we will see each other on the battlefields of War Thunder.